Let me throw the floor open for comments on 4, and I see Commissioner Finn's light.
About 3/4 of 4A as written, but the last part of 4A, this statewide student-to-teacher ratio standard, where on earth did this bad idea come from?
I guess discussion at the last meeting, but does anyone who, could you elaborate a little more? And yeah.
Yes. We have ample evidence from ample research that class size does not affect student learning until you get down to very tiny, unaffordable class sizes. That being the case, to pursue smaller class sizes, which is implicit in this entire part of the paragraph, is a waste of time and money and pursues a chimerical idea that will lead us down a primrose path, if I can mix several metaphors into one sentence. Moreover, it presumes that having a statewide ratio would be a good thing, taking away another element of local control, and moreover, it seems to take for granted that our 3 comparison states have such ratios, which I don't believe they have. So why on earth go down this path? The rest of 4A and all of 4B are fine with me.
Okay. Mr. Hershkovitz.
Sure. So hard to know where to begin in response. The research on this is not as crystal clear as Dr. Finn suggests it is. So we can argue over this study and that study on class size. If you talk to any teacher in our state about whether class size matters, they will say yes, it does. So whether we listen to the people in our classrooms who work with our students is a question for the commission to consider. But I'm not going to address that. I'm going to address the fact that Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New Hampshire all have much better ratios than we have. In fact, if you look at 2015 NAEP scores, the top 10, and there are outliers, I will admit that. But if you look at the first 10, and then the second 10, and the third 10, and fourth 10, and fifth 10 of states, you will see the median of those brackets of this per pupil ratio increase. It starts at 13, and then it goes up to 14, and then 14.5 is where we are about, and then it goes up from there. Now, I'm not saying there's a perfect correlation or it's the reason why those states are better. There's a lot of factors that go into making good schools. But at the heart of what education is our staff, our teachers, and education support professionals, and principals and other administrators working directly with students to learn. I think it's a fundamental idea that the more individualized attention instructors can give to students, the better off their learning is going to be. So the reason that we have suggested language like this being included is just to cost out if the state were to adopt a standard, a goal of we don't want there to be more than 13 students per teacher on average. It would be smaller in schools that have more concentrated poverty. It would be bigger in schools that don't have as much of that challenge. Then we could implement planning time and other important factors that the Commission has discussed without jeopardizing individualized instruction and leaving students without any attention from teachers over a course of a day if there's like 40 or 50 students in those classes.
Commissioner Fan, do you want to respond?
Just that the biggest single reason that teachers today are not paid more than they're being paid is because the United States for the last 50 years has been systematically reducing class size and increasing the number of teachers rather than paying teachers better. That is the biggest single reason for 50 years that teacher wages have stayed flat, is because we've taken all the additional money that we've put into education, which has been a huge amount of money, and we have devoted it to hiring more people.